All right, welcome to another Keeping Up with Team Tufas live workout. Today we're going to revisit some of those warm-ups and conditioning exercises that we did last week. We're going to introduce a couple new coordination and movement exercises in there to get our core activated, get our bodies moving in a little bit different ways. And at the end, we're going to do a super fun eye-hand coordination activity. So without further ado, we're going to get started in on our warm-ups. So go ahead and find yourself a nice spot, maybe with a mat or a soft place to sit. We're going to start with some breathing. So go ahead and you can sit, you can stand, you can lay down. Be comfortable. We're going to just breathe for a minute. Focus on your breath getting all the way down into your stomach, really breathing all the way down, and when you breathe out, breathing all of the air out of your lungs. Perfect. We're going to get a little bit of moving in. We're going to warm up our spine. We're going to start with some simple twists. We'll do the twist motion first. So we're just going to go side to side. You can stand, you can just be in a position where you can move your spine side to side. Okay, now we're going to go into our sideways bend motion of our spine. So we're going to reach side to side. Not only does this warm up our spine bending side to side, but we also get a little bit of a stretch in our side muscles here. Our shoulders get to open up a little bit. Perfect. We're going to move into our forward backward spine movement. You can stand, you can kneel, but we're going to actually stand for this. We're going to start in an upward position with our hands raised above our heads. And we're diving down, rolling our spine so we get to the floor. And then we're going to roll our spine back up. Hands to go above the head and arch backwards. We're going to repeat that a couple times. Dive down, roll back up, arch back. Make sure you keep breathing. Nice job. Right. The spine is a little bit warmed up now. We've moved it in a couple different ways. Now we're going to warm up our lungs and our bigger muscles. So we're going to start with some jumping jacks. We're going to do some jumping jacks for 30 seconds. When we do our jumping jack, remember we want our hands to come all the way above our head without letting our shoulders come up. Relaxed shoulders, arms above our heads. When they come down, we want to try to clap behind our back to work on that shoulder opening. So, ready? And go. Next, we're going to do our 30 seconds of frog jumps. Arms above the head, land in a squat, easy on the knees. Starting now. Really extend those legs when you jump up. Nice work. Okay. We should feel our breathing increase a little bit. Feel our muscles starting to get warm. Now we're going to start our slow dynamic stretches. Starting at your head, we're going to do some neck circles. Nice and slow. Switch directions. Moving into our shoulders. Let's grab some shoulder shrugs. Keep your focused breathing still. And reverse directions. Okay, we're going to put our arms out. We're making small circles with the fingers while we make a bigger circle with the rest of the arm. Okay, reverse directions. All right. Moving down our body, we're going to warm up our hips. We're going to start with some hip openers. So pick a foot, any foot. We're going to start by swinging that hip outwards. Switch sides. We're going to close the hip. So switch back to your first leg. This time we're going from the outside and bringing our leg in. Switch sides. Nice. Moving down our leg, we're going to go into some ankle circles. Switch directions. Switch feet. We're probably doing a lot more sitting these days, so it's important to wake up things like our ankles that maybe aren't getting as much work as they normally do. Switch directions. Nice. All right, now we're going to move down to our hands and knees. Again, since we're not actively climbing probably, our forearms aren't being stressed as much as they were when we were climbing, but we still want to keep them healthy, strong, and stretched out. So we're going to start on hands and knees. And we're just going to walk out the arms. If you feel a place where you feel the stretch a lot, you can pause there for a second, but these are dynamic stretches. We want to keep a little bit of movement with them at all times. We're preparing ourselves to do our more active conditioning. Good. All right. So that was our warm-up. Hopefully that felt good for everyone. Everyone feels warmed up. Our conditioning today is going to be a little different than last week's. We're still going to work out kind of each section of the body, arms, core, legs. But we're also going to add in a couple of extra things. So those we're going to do first, since they're kind of on the cusp of being a warm-up and a conditioning exercise. So the first thing, it kind of wakes up our core and gets our coordination going, is a bear crawl. So you can start on your hands and knees. This will be the basic position. And then press up with your toes so that your knees are still bent, but they're hovering just above the ground. Here I am on all fours, press up with my feet just a tiny bit, and my knees are just hovering. When we do the bear crawl, we're trying to envision how we would walk around if we walked on four legs. Just like when you walk normally, if you're swinging your arms or running, our opposite arm and opposite leg come forward at the same time. We don't bring forward the same side. That would make us not very balanced. So we want opposites. Those draw a line, a diagonal line, and create what's called body tension. In climbing, body tension is really important. It helps us stay on the wall, stay controlled. This bear crawl is teaching us the exact same thing, so it's a great exercise for that. So start on your hands and knees, press up with your toes and engage, hover your knees above the floor, and we're just going to walk around. We're going to bring opposite hand and opposite foot forward, and we're just going to walk around like that a while. You can also walk backwards. We want to try to keep our back flat while we do this. We don't want our butt to be up here. We want our back to stay as flat as possible. That's going to really engage your core. Nice. It's harder than it looks, but it's pretty fun. So you can move like that all the time. It's really nice. All right, the next movement we're gonna learn and practice is a kind of a leapfrog movement, but we're going to really focus on engaging our core so that it's not too fast. The goal here is control and just really slow controlled movement. So we're going to start in a kind of leapfrog position, and we're going to go and do some hops, but not when you do a leapfrog, often you're hopping over something. We're not hopping over anything here, but we want to pay attention to where our feet are in relation to our hands. So if my hands are here, I want to hop. I want my feet to be at the same place with my hands, or even in front of my hands, if you can. If that feels like a lot of stretch, hop to wherever feels comfortable, but we're trying to really propel ourselves forward past our hands with this. The muscles you're going to try to engage are around your hips and the lower abdominal muscles right there. We don't want our leapfrogs to sound like our frogs are made of rocks and really clunking. Just like when we're climbing, we want quiet feet. We want to think quiet feet when we're doing our leapfrogs. So when you do your hop, when you're at the top of your hop, you're going to really think, engage your muscles, so that when you land, you can kind of float your feet down to the floor. So go ahead and just practice. Try hopping around your space as quietly as possible. You can try going backwards. Nice. So hopefully you could feel a little bit of engagement in your core and even some engagement in your quads, maybe your calves. I know mine, I'm feeling it a little bit, and through your arms. We'll revisit these in our video next week, so remember those. We're going to add a couple more next week too, so just to get them in your mind a little. All right, now that we're warmed up, our core has been tested with those coordination moves, we're going to move into our conditioning section. So we're going to start with our arms and shoulders like we did last time. We're going to start with our arms outstretched, and we're going to do 10 raises of our hands. So we want to keep our hands straight, bend to as far back as you can. Let's go from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Now we're going to start at that bent back as far as you can. You want to try to make sure to keep those elbows extended. And we're going to focus on our fingers now. So we're going to just bend them in. We're trying to keep this back of the hand as flat and still as possible. It's hard. You might see some movement there. It's okay. So we're going to go 10 of those. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Keep your hands in that extended position. This time we're doing a rotation. So we're going to start up, rotate as far down as you can, and back. That's 1. So 10, 9, 8, 7, Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. I know I start to feel it in my forearms, so it's a good way to warm things up, get those muscles working. All right. May not seem like much, but if you do that one every day, your forearms will get very strong, help your wrist strength too, which helps with everything. Climbing, yoga, handstands, you name it. Anything that uses your wrists anyway. All right, moving into our upper body, back, core, legs section. We're gonna do a little sequence here. We're gonna do a little sequence where we do push-ups, squats, and sit-ups. And we're gonna do 10 push-ups, 10 squats, 10 sit-ups for the first round, 9 for the second round, 8 for the third round, 7, and so on until we get to 1. And then we're gonna try to go back up to 10. Okay, so we're gonna start in the push-ups. You can do these as modified push-ups from your knees. Just make sure your back's not curved, that you're keeping tension in your stomach. Or you can do normal push-ups, whichever you prefer. Same with squats, any type of squat you want. Sit-ups too, if regular sit-ups are hard on your back or your tailbone, you can do crunches or, so you choose your own. All right, we're starting in our push-up position. We're going from 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up for the squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Crunches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back to push-ups. We're at 9 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Squats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sit-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doing good so far? Now we're at our 8s. If you need to mix up your push-ups with other types of push-ups, like wide push-ups, narrow push-ups, etc., feel free to do that too. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squats. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit-ups. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're at 5. We're almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2. Almost there. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Last one, guys. Got this. 1. 1. 1. Nice work. That's a hard one. Today we're only going to go down to 1. But maybe in a future video we'll go back up to 10. Just have to watch our time here. All right. You would take a minute breathing break from that. You can go ahead and sit on your mat, do some turning, some twisting, stretches. Stretch out those arms. Really just had to do so many push-ups. Go ahead and do some stretches. Don't hold anything too long because we're not quite done. Oh, makes me yawn just doing it. Okay. So, great job. That was our hard part of our conditioning today. Moving on to a few things that aren't quite as strenuous, but equally fun, or maybe more fun, depending on your opinion of fun. All right, for the next part, you're gonna need 2 to 3 round objects. I'm using these hacky sacks. You can use a couple pieces of fruit if you don't mind them being a little bruised. You can use tennis balls, balled up pair of socks, anything you need. Things that are just a tiny bit heavier, gonna feel a little better in your hand. However, all depends on what works best for you, what you have lying around. So I'm going to start with these. Today, for our coordination exercise, we're going to be learning how to juggle. So some of you may have juggled as kids, or you are kids and you want to learn how to juggle, or maybe you could juggle once but you haven't been practicing, or maybe you already know how to juggle and you can just practice your juggling the entire time I'm teaching other people how to juggle. Whatever works for you. Juggling with 3 balls usually looks like this. You can throw in tricks, different ways to throw the ball. You can juggle in one hand, you can switch off. Today, we're just going to be working on the simplest version of that, just the 3 balls toss. We're going to start with one single juggling ball. The key to being able to juggle 3 balls or juggle at all is in kind of consistency. We want to always be able to throw the ball to the same height. If we're always throwing at different heights, it's really hard for our brains to anticipate and our hands where the ball is going to be next, which makes it even harder when we get more than 1 ball. So when we're starting with 1, we want our hands, our elbows into our sides, our hands at elbow height, and we're just going to toss the ball. You should stand when you do this. I'm going to kneel to show you, but standing you get better balance. We want to toss the ball and get it to about our eye height. And we want our hands to stay in about the same positions. We don't want to be reaching over to grab the ball. We want our hands to stay about here. If they go a little bit in, that's okay. We're just going to try to get the ball going to the same height on every toss. Our throw doesn't have to come from the arm. It comes kind of from the wrist. So we don't need that much power to get the juggling balls to go up into the air. All we need is a little flick. So if you even want to practice that first, you can try with just one hand and kind of flicking up with the wrist. Start with one hand. And then you can move into getting from here. So okay, I lied. You do come from the elbow a little bit, but it's not a throw, like as if you were tossing a ball to someone. Our elbow brings it up, and then it kind of stops, and the ball pops. Pop, pop, pop. Once you feel like you have that down, I don't expect you to necessarily have it down in the duration of this video, but you can always rewind and watch it again, practice more. Once you feel like you have 1 ball down, you can get it to the same height every time, and you feel pretty okay about catching it with the other hand, we're going to move on to 2 juggling balls. Now, 2 juggling balls is almost 3, so that's cool. But we're going to do the same thing with the 2 that we did with the 1. We want to try to get them to get to the same height and then come down. What we're aiming for here is drawing an M in the air. This one is going here, this one's going here, and then they're coming down. And if you kind of trace those in the air, you get kind of an M shape. So what we don't want to necessarily focus on here is catching. We're going to think only about the rhythm of what's going on, because the rhythm of your juggle is really what keeps the juggle going. It holds the momentum. The catching can be kind of distracting. If we're always trying to catch, our throws can be more erratic and not necessarily as consistent or precise as we'd like them. So for this exercise, we're not going to catch, just throw. And we want our ball throws to sound like this. Thunk, thunk. And we want those to be always the same. So thunk, 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 thunk. By doing it with sound, we can really tell if our balls made it to the same height. Listen to what it sounds like if my ball makes it to, if one ball goes to a different height than the other ball. Not as nice of a rhythm. Let's try that one more time. So we always want to keep that even rhythm. Once you feel like you can throw and practice the sound, you can try to add in the catch. We're going to keep the sounds even though we have the catch. But instead of thunking on the floor, the juggling ball is going to thunk in your hand. So it's going to look like this. You can use whatever sound you want. All right. Once you feel confident with the sounds, you can try without the sounds, or you can keep the sounds because it's kind of fun. This method of doing the two ball in the sound pattern way really makes us think about the rhythm and the timing of our throws and catches. What we don't want to do when we're juggling with two balls is pass them to each other. We always want to throw them up and catch them. All right. Once you've practiced that a while and you feel like you've got it, we're going to move on to three balls. Now, there are a couple ways to practice when you're just starting out with three juggling balls. You can practice up against a wall. If there's a wall in front of you, one of the most common things when you add three balls is that the balls get farther and farther away from you. If that's a problem, practice up against a wall. Then there's a limit to how far away from you they can get. We're going to do the exact same thing as what we did with the one ball and the two ball. Remember, when you juggle, you're starting with two in one hand, one in the other. So you're only starting really with that same two ball pattern that we tried. So the first thing you can do is just try the same two ball thing, but we're going to keep that third ball in the palm of our hand. This is kind of what our hold looks like. We're going to keep that ball. We're going to hold the ball that we're throwing in our front two fingers. We're going to hold the third ball in our palm so that it's really easy for us to throw. And once we get onto the third ball, once this one goes away, this ball naturally just rolls onto the front of your hand. But for now, we're just going to do the same two ball, holding the third in our hand. It's okay if you drop them. Once you feel like you can do that without feeling too nervous about this third ball, you're going to try to add the third ball. It helps, again, to think of a kind of rhythm. You can count. You can say 1, 2, 3. And the best way to start is to not worry about catching. So we're going to try to get all three balls up in the air and not worry about catching. So we're going to start with our two ball hand. 1, 2, 3. I forgot to throw the third ball. It's okay. That happens. We're going to try again. Try to force yourself to throw that third ball. 1, 2, 3. That's what we want. We want to hear the sound in the floor of our throw, 1, 2, 3, and then that response of the floor, thunk, thunk, thunk. Try that again. 1, 2, 3, thunk, thunk, thunk. It's hard to say it all at once, so it's easier if you just listen in your head. If you are using fruit, I'm sorry, maybe try this on your bed, because this method will bruise the fruit. 1, 2, 3. It's easier if you just listen. If you're trying to say them all, as demonstrated, you forget the throat. Once you feel like you hear and you have that rhythm of being able to throw all 3 balls, then you can focus on bringing your attention into the catching. Remember, the first 2 are just like the M shape practice with 2 balls we did. The difference is, once you throw that second ball, here we have 1, here we have 2. When 2 is in the air at its highest point, that's when you throw your third ball. 1, 2, third, 1, 2, third, 1, 2, third, 1, 2, 3. So the first thing you want to try is just throwing 3, catching, and stopping. So we're going to just do a 3-ball pass. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you can focus on doing the opposite direction. So starting with the 2-ball hand on your other side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One side is usually naturally weaker at throwing than the other side, just because it hasn't practiced as much. So it's important to practice both sides. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Once you feel relatively confident with both hands, you can go back to your dominant hand, and we're going to just try to throw as many as we can. Keep the circle going. It's basically the 2-ball throw repeated with an extra ball that's just hanging out in the air. One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's our first juggling practice. Next video, we're going to add in a little bit, a different conditioning workout, and we're going to do a little bit of other work with our juggling balls. So make sure you have a couple of round things, 2 or 3, doesn't matter. We'll do something that you can use 2 juggling balls to work on some coordination too. Great job. I hope you're now approaching the ability to juggle with at least 2 balls. We're going to move on to our stretching cool down section. Does anyone have any questions about the juggling coordination that we just did? Great. All right. So we're going to move into our cool down. Hopefully you feel like you've gotten some moving going. We're going to start standing, and we're going to roll our spine down, reach towards the floor, and stop wherever you first feel the stretch. We want to try to keep our back kind of straight. We don't want to be totally curved. All right, we're going to plant our hands on the ground. We're going to pick up, actually no, we're going to come up to about half. pick up our right foot, cross it over our left, and go down again into that forward fold. Again, just stopping wherever you feel the first little stretch. Unwind, come back up, left foot over right, come back down. Because this is at the end of our session, we're doing what are called static stretches. This means we're holding them for about 30 seconds each. This is to really get them to stretch. We've done all of our moving, so now we're into our stretching. Don't forget to keep breathing. All right, we're gonna plant our hands, come back up. This time we're gonna step our right foot back. We're gonna come into a high lunge. You can put both hands in the middle and move your foot out a little bit so you can really sink in. Move your foot back in, plant both hands, pull your foot back, move your other foot up, move that foot out to the side, sink into the middle again. Don't forget to breathe. Right, we're gonna plant our hands, pull that foot back, and press up into a downward facing dog. I'm gonna hang out here for a whole minute, so you can pedal out your feet. This a little bit if you need to, or you're just gonna try to stay here. All right, we're gonna move from our down dog onto all fours. And try to keep a flat back. We're gonna do some cat-cows. Working out that spine again. Good. All right. We're going to come down onto into a sitting position. We're going to stretch out our shoulders from all those push-ups we did. So we're going to start with a simple shoulder stretch over the head. And pull gently on the shoulder or on the elbow. Extend the arms, switch sides. If pulling on the shoulder doesn't work, you can also do cow face arms, gripping your arms behind your back and pulling. It feels best to you. All right. Go ahead and stretch those arms a little bit. All right. We're going to do another twist. Go ahead and tuck your right leg in. Put your left leg over the top of your right so that you're in kind of a twisted position. Now, left leg should be over right leg. We're going to extend our arms. We're going to put left arm over right arm. Twist them up and turn to the side. Make sure your shoulders don't come up, that you're actively pressing them down and away from your ears. All right, unwrap your arms, unwrap your legs, wiggle them out, tuck your left leg, place that right leg over the top into the twist, extend your arms, right arm over left this time, and hooking arms and turning. Nicely done. Unwrap the arms, press away, unwrap the legs, extend them out and give them a wiggle. Now we're going to bring our heels in into our butterfly pose. We don't want to pull up on our feet, remember. We're going to be stretching out over our feet. We don't want to round it back. We want to keep our back as straight as possible. And just kind of pull a little bit with your hands on the floor. Rock side to side if you want a little bit. Walk your hands back up. Then we're going to extend our legs out to the side into a straddle and do the same thing. We're going to walk towards middle. We want to keep our legs turned out. We don't want them falling in. So make sure that as you go towards middle, your legs aren't turning in. You want to keep them turned out. Walk our hands back up. We're going to walk out right. Really reach outside this so you also get this side stretch. We're going to walk our hands over. Come up. Roll your neck a couple times. Let the yawns out. And today we're going to end again, like we did at the beginning, with a little bit of breathing to kind of calm us down and remind us what a nice thing it is to move when we are maybe more stuck inside than we usually are. So go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. You can lay on your back, close your eyes, whatever you'd like. And we're just going to sit and focus in on our breath again for a few minutes. Really focus on relaxing any muscles that you feel like are still working. Muscles in your face, in your head, your eyelids, muscles around your mouth, around your ears. Relax the muscles in your neck. Relax your shoulders and really feel gravity pulling them down, away from your ears. That's also pulling your arms down into the floor or onto your legs. The muscles in your legs are relaxing. All of the muscles in each of your toes, they're not working anymore, they're resting. And slowly start feeling your toes. Wiggle them maybe. Wake them up a little bit. Remind your body you still have toes. Move that feeling up your legs. You start to feel the muscles in your legs. Don't need to move them, you just are waking those muscles back up. Into your core. To your fingertips. Maybe you wiggle your fingertips a little bit. That feeling goes all the way up your arms into your shoulders. And then up into your face, your neck. We're not tensing our muscles again. We're just reminding ourselves that they're there, that we've worked with them, and that they're relaxed and happy, hopefully. Or at least they're right. The last thing that comes up are your eyes. They can open. Just hang out here for a minute. Start moving just a tiny bit. If you're on the floor, you can come up into a seated position slowly. All right. Thank you for joining us today with Team Tufas, and we'll be back next Friday to continue our conditioning and to learn maybe a juggling trick or two. So stay tuned. Thanks.